welcome back to 100 Blocks in 2025. Now we just completed Tula's block number 84 where we did a little fussy cut square and put a frame around it. And today we're going to kind of double down a little bit on our fussy cutting. Check out the block that I planned so far. So today we're going to work on Tula's block number 83. So here's our 84 that we just did. Now we're going to do 83. And you can see from this block, which actually might be a little easier to sew, we're going to have two fussy cut blocks in here, but we're also going to have two alternating blocks. So essentially that fussy cut is going to make our 4 patch in the center, and then we're going to put a frame around the outside. So let me show you what I did. All right, I found this cute little scrap of farm animal fabric in my stash, and one thing that I wanted to show you was a little bit about repeating. Now, there are lots of little areas that I could put a 2.5-inch square on this piece of fabric. I can get out this cow, I can get out a few of the faces of the sheep, maybe one tractor if I squeeze it in really well, a couple of chickens, some ducks in a pond. But if I wanted those blocks to be identical as I have here, or nearly identical anyway, I have to pick a spot where I can get a 2-inch square out twice. So say for example, I want to use a 2.5-inch square of this horse. So I can lay my little mini charm template down here, and while it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get my seam allowances out, I could squeeze it over a little bit and I can get my whole horse and have a little bit of space where most of the horse, maybe I'd lose a little of the tail, but it would all be within that square. So if I look on the fabric and I see another horse, I see one down here, but if I set my square down, you can see I've now run off my fabric. So I don't have enough repeats in this piece of fabric to get two of the same. I do have one for the little cow. I can get both cows out. I can get both ducks out. And so I had to pick a spot in the fabric where I could get two identical or nearly identical spots. What I chose was this tiny little chicken house. I was able to get two places out of that, and so I went ahead and I fussy cut those out of the fabric to get my two squares. Now let me show you what else I chose. So if I lay my little guys down in the center so that they become part of the 4 patch, I have now picked out an alternating fabric that's of interest that I can put down here to complete the 4 patch in the center. And now all I need is a frame. So obviously these are two 2.5-inch squares, and these are two 2.5-inch squares. And then to finish off the frame, I'm going to need a bunch of strips 1.5 inches, and those are each going to be 2 strips that are 1.5 by 4.5. And then for the top and the bottom, I'm going to need 2 strips that are 1.5 by 6.5. And I've used all my greens now, so I've kind of touched in on the green in the background of the house, but the blue of the house itself kind of pops out. And then I've added these prints, and you can do them separately, or you can turn the direction of the prints in the same direction so it doesn't hurt your eye, whatever you need. So obviously I'm going to start assembling by putting my 4 patch together in the center alternated, and then I'm going to add my side strips and my bottom. So let's finish that 4 patch and come back and see what we have. So now that we have our center 4 patch done, you can see our sides fit perfectly, and of course as soon as our sides go on, so will our top and bottom. In the last couple of videos I didn't really talk much about which way to press your seams because we weren't having any seams that met. But here, right here in the center, I had those 2 squares that I had to meet. So I did go ahead and press my seams to opposite sides so that I could nest them here in the center. And then just to reduce bulk a little bit, I opened them up here in the center when I sewed the 2 pieces together. So that's how I got that nice tight matching seam right there in the middle of my 4 patch. So I'm going to go ahead and add my sides and my top and the bottom, and then we'll see our finished block. And now that I've added the sides and the top and bottom to this block, doesn't it look cute? It's all super finished. I absolutely love how this little block turned out, and I have a lot of space on that fabric if I want to come back later and cut, say, the pigs or the sheep or anything like that. I still have room to cut and fussy cut more things out of that block. And they don't necessarily have to go in a green block either. They can go in a blue block or a pink block. It just depends. So you may see those little farm animals again before the end of this series. So that is the end of this particular block. I hope you're still making blocks. We have well over 60 blocks now. I think we're on block number 65 or 66, whatever the title says. And so we are really making progress in our 100 blocks of 2025, and it's only August. So that's pretty great. All right, I hope you're still making blocks and keep on going. And if you can't find me here on YouTube, definitely find me at cabinquilters.com.